Joining us now is Ojinika Ojiokwe, with stories trending around the world.
Hello, Janice. I love the way you come alive. Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you this morning?
I'm fine.
Perfect.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ayomi.
Good morning. Oji, you got the memo.
No, Ojinika.
Ojinika. You got the memo. So we walked in and saw that all of us were putting on a shade of blue.
Oh,
and so when we walked in, I said, yeah, you got the memo.
Fantastic. We
Good
did.
To see you.
So
good to see you
are you saying you are all blah, blah, blue, compliant?
Wow, woo. What does that mean, Dr. Abati? Wait, let him explain.
What kind of blue is yours?
Which shade of blue is that?
There's a new shade of blue in town, and it's called what? Blah, blah.
Let's
okay,
Dr. Abati, please.
Do what you have to do.
I'm so tired. Rufai, good morning. How are you?
Oji, you are a wawulence.
It's wawu, right?
Wawu.
Not violent.
Violent. No, but this is good. I like this blue.
The Naira blue.
There's a Naira blue. Oh, yeah, the new blue.
I like this blue.
Yes.
You know, when you have this blue at Christmas, this is blue.
Very good. And the other one is it Bala and blue? Perfect. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In Turkey and Syria, the death toll from the 7.8 magnitude earthquake on Monday has risen to more than 4,300. The powerful earthquake brought down whole apartment blocks in Turkish cities and piled more devastation on millions of Syrians displaced by years of war. It is the biggest quake recorded worldwide by the U.S. Geological Survey since the tremor in the remote South Atlantic in August 2021. In the United Kingdom, Nigeria's former Deputy Senate President, Ekweremadu, was on trial on Monday, facing charges of exploiting a 21-year-old Lagos street trader with the intention of organ harvesting. The court heard that Ekweremadu illegally paid the trader to travel to the United Kingdom for a kidney donation to help his daughter, Sonia, who suffers from a kidney disease. The 21-year-old was allegedly offered the equivalent of 2,400 pounds. Jurors were told the alleged donor was unaware that his kidney was to be harvested. Ekweremadu has denied the charges. Under sports, the Ghana Football Association on Monday asked fans to pray for former Chelsea and Newcastle forward Christian Atsu, who was reportedly trapped under rubble caused by the devastating earthquakes in Turkey. Conflicting reports emerged after news that the 31-year-old forward and his Hatayspor sporting director had been found.
It don't even matter what time it is.
Finally, under entertainment, congratulatory messages have poured in for Temilade Okpeni, popularly known as Tems, who won her first ever Grammy in the Best Melodic Rap Performance category on Sunday night for her feature in Wait For You, the 2022 hit song by Future, also featuring Drake. President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday congratulated the 27-year-old Afrobeat star and praised her for showcasing her talent to the world and placing Nigeria in the spotlight of excellence.
It don't even matter what time it is. I will wait for you.
Well, yesterday we were clapping on set for Temilade Okpeni. We are so proud of her. And, you know, President Muhammadu Buhari, along with all of her female fans and musicians, have also paid, you know, sent their congratulatory messages. But, you know, yesterday was fun on Twitter when I was reading, you know, different reports, whether or not she's the first female recipient of the Grammy in Nigeria or Sade Adu. I don't know what your thoughts are. I personally think Sade Adu is Nigerian. She was born in Nigeria, and I believe she's the first female Grammy Award recipient.
Okay, so I differ a bit slightly. Yes, technically she's Nigerian, but when you talk about Sade Adu, she's often referred to as a Nigerian-born British singer. So usually she's referred to or she's honored or acknowledged as a British singer. She's been honored by the Queen, CBE, and Fola Sade Adu CBE. So I don't know if she really identifies with her Nigerian roots. And so it is quite difficult to, in this sense and in terms of identity, it's the person who usually or often determines how they self-identify. And in recent times, I mean, especially with her music, she often goes on as a British artist and has been embraced. And so for me, Tems is our first Nigerian Grammy.
That's where you refine.
No, for me, I think either way, they're both Nigerians.
Yes.
It doesn't make Tems more Nigerian than anybody. Shadiadu, you know, was from here, I think from Ondo State. You know, yes, she might be in Britain and all of that. Yeah, she might hold a British passport, but to me, she's still a Nigerian.
She was born in Ibadan, specifically.
And that's what I see. I think most importantly, that should not go back and forth. The thing is, let's commend our stars when they do well. Absolutely. You know, just like I was happy too when another Nigerian was doing quite well, you know, with his music in the 90s, Tunde Baiwu. You know, that's how they tried to claim Tunde Baiwu and the Lighthouse family being British. But great people doing great things in this country. We celebrate all of them.
I think there's no need for any controversy. The Nigerian constitution recognizes dual nationality.
Yes.
So every Nigerian, you can carry 2 passports. It's not on record that Shadiadu has renounced her Nigerian citizenship.
Exactly.
So whether it's Shadiadu or it's Tems, or, you know, to the extent that both of them identify with Nigeria, even if Shadiadu has dual nationality, whatever they achieve anywhere, we claim it.
Yes.
But where is the caveat? Every time we make the point here, when Nigerians get into the British Parliament, whether it's Kemi Badenoch or, you know, others, we say, oh, a Nigerian is in the British Parliament. In Canada, we have many Nigerians, Attorney General, Deputy this, Deputy that. We claim them also. But the thing is, yes, we have the law in Nigeria that recognizes them, whatever they themselves identify with most. We have athletes all over the world. We even go to some international competitions. You see a Nigerian performing for other countries. The beauty of it is that this is a country, to quote President Buhari, of diamonds, of people who continue to excel everywhere. The only thing we ask for is that the Nigerian government, at all levels, national and subnational, should create the enabling environment for the flowering of talent, for the encouragement of genius that we see, so that those diamonds can flourish and give Nigeria a good image. So congratulations to Tems.
Yes.
Congratulations to Shadiadu.
Yes.
Congratulations to all the people who are making Nigeria proud.
A round of applause for all of them.
Long live Nigeria.
Long live Nigeria.
Viva Nigeria.
Well, all right. Let's continue what's trending. Discussing the controversy surrounding the Central Bank of Nigeria's Naira redesign policy, which took center stage on Monday after governors of 3 states, Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara, instituted a suit against the federal government seeking a restraining order to stop the full implementation of the Naira redesign policy. Subsequently, a federal high court sitting in Abuja compelled the Central Bank of Nigeria to go ahead with the full implementation of the policy and restrain the Apex Bank from extending the deadline on the use of old Naira notes. This is coming as 14 out of 18 registered political parties threatened to boycott the general election if the CBN extends the deadline for the use of old Naira notes.
Nigerian political parties will therefore in such situation boycott the elections, as we cannot guarantee the credibility of the election where people have access to illicit funds to buy votes and compromise the electoral officials. They are mobilizing and paying miscreants to protest who we claim to be civil society organizations. We are the ones fielding the candidates for the elections, and we are the same people saying we want the policy. Nigeria cannot afford to and will not listen to one candidate who believes he needs all the Naira in the CBN vote to contest for the election.
Well, in the meantime, a group known as the Pro-Nigeria Group on Monday trooped out in their numbers in unity to appeal to the Central Bank of Nigeria not to succumb to pressure by Nigerian politicians seeking to compromise the Naira redesign policy. The group converged at the Unity Fountain and ended the walk in front of the Central Bank headquarters in Abuja.
We are also here because we know that Central Bank has the powers, they have the full autonomy to force the banks in Nigeria to do the right thing so that the suffering can end. We don't want vote buying. We don't want people to suffer. This policy favors fight against terrorism. Yes. This policy favors fight against kidnappers. Yes. Fight against vote buying. Yes. This policy is good.
Yes. I am excited with Mr. President at what Mr. President is doing. For him to allow this to go on, he's doing a very, Mr. President, kudos to you. Don't allow anybody to bend you to the left nor to the right. We don't need no vote buying. If you want to do anything about money to your people during the campaign or whatever, send money to them through transfer. Nobody should buy vote. Let the will of the people prevail. We don't want vote buying. If you must do, transfer money. So for the very first time, I'm so surprised that governors could be so passionate. Everybody running down to Asoro are passionate. During first casting, nobody said anything. During insecurity, nobody said anything meaningful. ASU strike, nobody said anything. Why now the Naira swipe? All the people that have all the Naira in a bullion van or have all the Naira inside Sokawepi, your Naira will melt away and turn to ashes.
You know, over the weekend, that conversation was up about the governors, you know, talking about this whole Naira redesign policy. And you know that the killing that occurred in Katsina state, the president's home state, you know, I mean, we didn't hear people talk about terror and all of that. Even, I believe, Shehu Sani posted a tweet that went viral. He talked about the fact that the death toll had risen and no governor was talking about it. I really liked that last protester's comment, Rufai.
Anoji and I also made a tweet, don't forget that.
Oh, I did see. Send me your tweets.
That went super viral. My tweet now has got over 1.1 or 1.2 million
send me that tweet.
Views.
Yes.
And this was just the argument I made. The argument was during ASU strike, governors didn't go to the president. During 5 months of first casting, that is still going on. And I thought that the governors would have just even hinted President Muhammadu Buhari. By the way, apart from this narrative we came from, there's still first casting going on. Okay, President, what are you going to do about it? Nothing was said about it. It is this policy. Then you know it's been politicized. Then you know that it is curbing vote buying. Then you know it's affecting people. See, I've got no problems with governors going to the president according to the law if it's a genuine cause. I personally on this show supported Governor Wike when he took FG to court on the VAT issue. And you can see, even other state governors asked to be joined. Lagos State asked to be joined in that suit. And I support that suit because I don't still see any reason why you must take all the VAT to the federal when the states are creating the money in their own locality and they can't use it for their own people. That's a valid case. That's a very good, and I support them. Across board, you can see it. But in this case, you can see the governors going to court from a certain political party. Have you wondered why? From Kaduna. Anyway, that was the governor that said it initially, that said there are some saboteurs in the villa. From Zamfara, APC state. From Kogi, APC. 3 APC governors go to court over a Naira policy that the CBN is supposed to have level of independence. How many people in other climes go to court over a CBN that's supposed to have level of independence? And we should watch it. You know why I say we should watch it? What are the politicians afraid of? Because they've tried every method in the book, gone to President Muhammadu Buhari, tried as much as possible to blackmail the CBN governor, even attempted to arrest and all of that. You know, did all sorts of shenanigans, incited people to protest and all of that, just because of politics. Because this is because it's going to curb vote buying. In all of this, aren't you seeing that it's only a certain political party that is making hulabaloo? Atiku Abubakar initially made a point about it, but now he said, no, don't shift the expiry date. Peter Obi was here talking to Dr. Abati on this, and he said he called for calm. The Edo State governor has also supported that. They support the CBM. Why is there only one political party that is up in arms as regards all of this? So we are not surprised what is happening. Civil society groups who are protesting, what we just want is free and fair election. Let the people decide. Should people even be induced financially for election in the first place? It's just because we've developed a bad society where politicians weaponize poverty and they give you money out of your commonwealth to vote for them to order further destroy your life and take from you further. It's sad. We just want a better country. That's the argument.
All right. Dr. Abati.
Okay. Well, all these arguments over the Naira new notes, redesign, withdrawal, what you have just demonstrated is a place of the individual, of the citizen, in a policy-making process. You make policy, you execute the policy. At both ends, the theory is that there's a role to be played there, there is a voice to be heard there. in terms of how that affects the citizens for whom those policies are meant. Where there is a disconnect between the first end and the polarity, the polarity talks about the end of it, then of course you have this kind of situation. But what are the issues here? What we have seen is that there's no policy you will come up with in Nigeria. You will have disparate voices, disparate reactions. While some people are trying to support it, some people will oppose it, some people will in fact be actively busy trying to sabotage it. And that is where I think within that interface, the role of government, the role of the state is important. President Buhari has said it will take 7 days to think about it, where we've seen that the 7 days now, some people are becoming impatient. Kogi State, Kaduna State, Zamfara State, they've gone to court, where we'll see what they come up with at the Supreme Court. But all those states are APC states. So you have a situation whereby 3 APC states are fighting the APC government at the center. Pliny the Elder is right after all. Pliny the Elder told us that something new always comes out of Africa. So there's nothing that you will see in Africa that you should be surprised about. But while those 3 APC states are going to court, you have political parties, forum of political parties, forum of presidential candidates of political parties, who have also gone to court and who have secured judgment from the Court of Justice Eneche, Federal High Court Abuja, to say that the federal government is barred from extending the deadline and that the status quo ante bellum must be maintained until the determination of the substantive suit and the motion on notice. And the case has been adjourned till February 14, which I find ironic because that's Valentine's Day. They will put us in a difficult situation where we'll be monitoring the ruling of the court on a day when we should be involved in the hands of Cupid, Romeo, but talking seriously now,
yes.
This is just the way the cookies crumble. What we will appeal to all the gladiators is to just realize that all of this has implications for the election. Nigeria has a general election, February 25, March 11. Nothing must be done, either by those who mean well and those who do not mean well, to derail the process, to cause unnecessary tension. And that is where, again, the state comes in. The state has a responsibility that while citizens have the right to express themselves for or against, nobody is allowed under the laws of the land to take the laws into his or her hands, to cause mayhem, to breach the public peace, because the reports indicate that in parts of the country, some people have been saying they will take the laws into their hands. They are not allowed to do so. And the responsibility for maintaining the peace is for government at both federal and state levels.
Absolutely.
That's my take.
Yeah. Okay, very quickly, and Dr. Rufai have spoken so extensively on this. The thing is that this also shows a part of this, which means that our government or our governors and leaders can be passionate about issues that concern the citizens. Oftentimes, this is the premise or the basis on which they're elected, to represent the views and the well-being of the people that they represent. Unfortunately, as has been highlighted, it's not often taken into consideration. Hence why Nigerians are wondering why this particular policy is put on the front burner when there are other pressing matters of national importance. You talked about the insecurity, you talked about what happened in Katsina State.
Yes.
We're still reliving what happened in Benue State and Nasarawa, was it in Nasarawa and Benue State? We're still counting the numbers of the dead. We're still talking about the security situation. No governor has been able to take this matter to this level to demonstrate that their people are greatly impacted by this. It shows the heart and the minds of the people who are leading us currently.
Yes.
That if it doesn't serve self-interest, then it doesn't become a matter of priority.
Yes, Shehu San said because it's not money matter.
Yes, it is largely unheard of that in an election year, where the ruling party is, we have an extended petrol scarcity situation. We had ASU on strike. It means that, simply put, they don't take you seriously. And don't forget that the young people make up the most numbers in terms of the electorate. If they sat down without saying anything when you were at home languishing for 8 months, and none of them thought it important to call for a national emergency, yet because of money that personally affects them, they're all rallying up and suing people, then you should know the kind of people that represent you, and you should demonstrate that when it matters. Nigerians must demand better. It shows that they have the powers to actually run. The Speaker of the House, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, said that they will reconvene if this matter is not sorted. So they can reconvene over a matter like this. But when the students were out, they couldn't reconvene.
Don't let us forget that the same Speaker of the House of Representatives that you just referred to intervened in labor matters. He intervened also in the ASU matter and summoned meetings. He's a politician.
But
persons who were with him, they were also politicians. Now there's a lot that goes on in government that is not in the public domain. If state governors had gone to Aso Villa to meet the president, it's not everything that happens in the forest that is reported in the public domain. However, I understand the concern of people. You're just looking at the optics and commenting on the basis of the optics. But you need to have, a more comprehensive view of how government works to be able to understand what goes on inside government.
Okay. So you have to be careful. A quick rebuttal.
So can I just say one thing?
Gbajabiamila only intervened after the video went viral that we took care of him being in Harvard, and people shouted that how can you be in Harvard doing a course when people are suffering here? That was after when he intervened.
That's the point. I just wanted to also mention
government works differently from how media houses work.
In this time, it also has posed a distraction to critical issues.
Yes.
On Sunday was the last day of the collection of PVCs.
Yes.
Because of this matter, we didn't talk about it enough. Remember that there was an extension, and there are still many people disenfranchised who didn't get their PVCs. We didn't talk about it. So it's a distraction as well.
Let's move on to take another story. Presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress held rallies on Monday to canvass for votes in the lead-up to the February 25th presidential election. Atiku Abubakar, the PDP flag bearer at the party's campaign rally in Benue State, proposed the signing of a peace accord between the Fulanese and thieves in the state to restore normalcy if he's elected. He also promised $10 billion to empower the youth in private enterprises.
I said we are going to allocate $10 billion to empower our young men and women with enterprises. Make sure that you don't go and make a mistake of voting for APC and return them to power again.
Well, the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at the party's campaign rally in Katsina State, promised to defeat banditry if elected president. He spoke on the back of the recent murder of 84 vigilantes by terrorists in the state, where he also pledged 100 million naira to the victims of the massacre. He thanked security agencies for their efforts and told his supporters not to allow the PDP, which he described the Poverty Development Party, to come back to power.
Whether they derive some moment's joy or satisfaction, we are saying we are bold, we are courageous, we believe in the law, we are strong, we are better than what they are. They are evil.
No, I think this was quite commendable. 100 million naira to the victims. You know, very well said by the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And also Atiku Abubakar, you know, his promise to the horrible situation that has been going on in Benue State and, you know, promising to sign a peace accord between those two groups. I thought it was quite commendable. But also Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you know, was also trending on social media for some of the comments that he made as well from that video. Dr. Batim.
Well, I think it's a good thing that the PDP presidential candidate talked about peace accord between Fulanis and thieves in Benue State, considering all the reports from that part and the front and back, aggressive conversation between him and the governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, who thinks that the Fulanis want to come and take over Benue State. So peace accord, good idea, reaching, peace in Benue State, where there is a lot of division between the autochthonous indigenous community and the Fulani settlers. But again, when a presidential candidate talks about peace accord, the question you will raise is, what happened to the two major peace accords that the political parties have signed under the auspices of the National Peace Committee led by General Abdulsalami Abubakar? They've signed peace accord twice, but we've been seeing verbal violence, we've been seeing a lot of vitriol, we've been seeing complete disregard for the spirit and the letter of the same peace accords that they have signed. So he should be reminded of that, and he should be reminded that it's not just about calling for peace accord. Even the surrogates, all these, spokespersons suffering from verbal diarrhea and vomiting from the mouth in a reckless manner and heating up the polity, they need to be called to order. So it's not just ethnic, it's also in terms of how the parties operate. Now, as for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, yes, good gesture, giving 100 million to victims of the Katsina massacre. But did I hear something about the widows of and or widowers? Okay, let's leave that. I'm not here to teach English this morning.
You don't want to teach English this morning?
No.
Off your mic then.
That's our woolens is too much. Real quickly, special commendations to Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes.
And I must have to say this about him, because at times where people have been, affected by circumstances, he's always quick to donate. And special commendations. You see, when somebody does well, we say it as it is. He's done well. He's shown empathy. He said he's going to try as much as possible to fight, what is happening in the insurgency in the state, which is a good one, which I support. Yeah. And these are the issues I want our leaders to be talking about. But also, they should also put a pathway to resolving those issues. So, commendations to Bola Ahmed Tinubu for doing it, and commendations for the other ones he has done. Being there for people, making donations of his own money, and all of that to people. That aside, Atiku Abubakar also, in Benue State, saying he's going to try as much as possible to solve the problem. There are many problems on ground, multivariated problems, very, very multifaceted problems. At first, you saw Governor Otom coming here the other day, saying that a certain group signed a petition against him and sent to President Muhammadu Buhari. He's been able to create a local, security force in his state, which some people say doesn't have the right to carry guns, which he says carry ding guns, which a lot of people are saying, oh, why is there a need for this? But he says he must protect his people. It shows that Benue, which is the breadbasket of this nation, is insecure. And you know what? That feeds on our inflation rate, because we can't have farm produce. You also have farm produce was destroyed in Benue because of insecurity, farmers, not being able to plant and the likes. So, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar must be able to find solutions to these problems. And Bola Tinubu must be able to find a solution to the problem of insecurity in Katsina, because these people affected are farmers.
Yes.
And once you don't have farmers planting, then it becomes a very, very terrible situation. I can't still get off my mind the picture I saw, and I've got traumatic stress disorder from it, the picture I saw of bodies of farmers in Zabamari being laid on the ground. I can't forget that picture.
I'll just mention that earlier on.
This thing is already
I just wanted to mention what Atiku Abubakar said in Benue State. The fact that when he addressed insecurity, he also put that side by side with addressing unemployment and infrastructure. These are underlying issues, even in terms of tackling security. We spoke about that earlier and was very important.
Well said, guys. Well, Thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.